Astral Traveler is a good example of a developer not realizing what they have. As a small, budget-priced action game all about dodging obstacles and surviving to the next stage, it's merely fine. It's neither going to wow you with its creativity, nor make you feel like you got ripped off. It's a solid game, and that's about it. But if Canadian developer Dragon Slumber were to tweak it just a little bit and turn it into a proper racing game, then there's a good chance this would have been one of my favorite games of the year. Sometimes you have to review the game you're playing, not the game you wish you were playing. Astral Traveler is not an easy game to nail down. It toys with being an action game, an endless runner, shooter, and yes, even a racing game. But it never fully embraces any of those genres. It basically mashes everything together to create a fast-paced obstacle course where you'll occasionally shoot at enemies and have to jump over bottomless pits. The goal is simple: make it to the end of the course without dying. But you better be quick about it, because there's a clock always ticking and the leaderboard is a competitive war zone. The single-player campaign is split into 47 separate courses spread across 5 unique nebulas. The stages start out short and simple, usually only taking a few seconds to complete. But this is where they lull you into a false sense of confidence, because there's no question that the game ramps up the difficulty in a hurry. Suddenly the stages take a lot longer than a few seconds, and you'll have to memorize when to weave left, right, and jump. And every time you think it can't possibly get any harder, they find ways to bump up the speed and overwhelm you with the obstacles. You're also shooting at enemies and trying to place on the leaderboard. Astral Traveler is the very definition of stressful. The 47 stages are split up into a couple of different types of courses. For the most part, you'll be racing on what resembles a half-pipe. Sometimes there will be holes in the track, or you'll have to jump from one part of the level to another, but it's usually flat and easy to race. But then things get shaken up when you race over what looks like a long, winding beanstalk. You'll cling to the side and circle it in 360 degrees, all while avoiding all of the obstacles thrown in your path. These are cool stages that remind me of what Nintendo was doing with their F-Zero series back in the day. For as cut and dry as the design is, I do like that there are a few small attempts that show that the developer was taking the racing elements into mind. For example, there are these orbs scattered around the level that you can shoot for health items, but if you don't shoot them and instead press the phase button right before hitting them, you'll be able to zip right through them and have a nice speed boost. Mastering this technique is how you'll ultimately secure your spot on the top of that leaderboard. Beyond phasing through the orbs, there really isn't that much to the gameplay. You can jump, shoot, and dodge left and right. That's pretty much it. While that's enough to get the job done, it would have been nice to see a little bit more variety. The same can be said about the obstacles. Sure, each nebula introduces something new, but there's nothing here you haven't seen in countless other games. Like I said at the top, Astral Traveler has everything it takes to be a killer racing game. It has cool level designs, cars with weapons, an outer space motif, and a fast pace that is normally reserved for Wipeout and F-Zero. But without these other drivers on the track, this speedy indie game never felt like a proper racer. By focusing on making it all about the obstacle course, the developers have severely limited Astral Traveler's true potential. It's so disappointing. As a game about dodging obstacles and avoiding bottomless pits, Astral Traveler is fine. It's a little repetitive, and the difficulty is aggressively unfair towards the end, but I had a good time, and I like the $5 asking price. What I hope will happen is the developers will suddenly realize that they have to create a proper racing game out of this so-so action game. I mean, there's a must-own game lurking in Astral Traveler, and it's just waiting to be created. Hey, thanks for watching our review. So here's the question of the day. What's your favorite F-Zero game? Personally, I'd probably go with the first one, but I know those later editions have a strong following. If you've never played an F-Zero game before, then seriously, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and leave a comment below. In other news, I have a lot of reviews to get to. In fact, I have so many shoot-'em-ups to talk about that I'm seriously considering doing a whole show dedicated to nothing but that one genre. Perhaps that'll pop up next week. In the meantime, I recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.